Hello, my dear intuitive academic. So happy to have you here on the channel. My name is Shelly, and I'm here to help guide you on your academic journey, whatever stage that may be at. So today is, we're in the month of November, and this is the time of the year, the time of the academic cycle where there is a lot of applications, a lot of deadlines, a lot of hopes and fears in terms of what the future holds for people. So this is a timeless reading, but I also wanted to sync this into the cycle we're at currently, which is that time of applications. And so the question I want to bring to the table today to help guide you is, where should you look for support, or what can you do to support yourself in this time of applying? And so we're just going to see what the cards tell us in terms of a generalized message of how you can support yourself, or where you can seek support at this time that is full of a lot of emotions, a lot of work, but also a very exciting time as well. Okay, so focusing in on support, where you can find it, what the best kind of support for you might look like, how to support yourself, how to support others even, maybe also how to support your work or your application as you're going through it, coordinating people, ideas, and things. Okay, so the central energy here is 13, the broom. Tidy up your life so you can make space for something better. Oh, that's so interesting. I'll turn it over for a minute. So this card is in the reverse, and it's about tidying up your life so you can make space for something better in your life. This is so interesting when we're talking about applications and looking out the door at the future. Also sweeping out what doesn't serve you out the door as well, keep putting that back into the past where it belongs. And then keeping the things around you that do serve you, that do give you something to bring into the future with you. And then we have the sparkle cleans as well. The shell here is standing out to me. It reminds me of when you're a kid and you learn to hear the sea inside of the shell, and it's making me think about, finding something expansive, finding another environment in an unexpected place, in something really small, and incongruous to where you would expect to find the ocean, right? But it's also of the ocean. I always thought that was so trippy, hearing the ocean in a shell. I did grow up by the ocean, and this is something we did all the time. Yeah, and it's making me think of calling, and maybe not calling through a typical phone, but maybe calling on an ancestor, like through another means of communication, or your spirit guides, or yourself, your inner self, through something small, an alternate means of communication. I'm kind of thinking about pointing you to the stones here, for example, holding on to like a palm stone, and so to tune into your own inner knowing. Let me check really quick what this corresponds to in the regular tarot deck. I'm not familiar yet. Oh, so this is typically the death card. And so when we read the death card, it's usually referring in the same breath to rebirth, two sides of the same coin. So like I was before pointing out, looking at the future, the expanse of the future, what it might hold for you, sweeping out the past into what needs to stay in the past, and to me, this is telling me keeping the separation between the two is going to support you as you're going through your application period. So we're going to get some more clarity first on that. So you have the Two of Swords, a little bit about indecision here. Wake up, what is it that you truly want? Oh, so maybe a little lack of clarity as well in your applications as to what it is that you actually want. This is a little bit about kind of being blind to something or not seeing yet something that's pretty important that will tip the scales into which direction you're going to take. So as that connects back to the Death reverse card, let's pull some more cards to kind of figure that out. Okay, so you have some worries hanging over you. So you see in this card, it says 3 a.m., staying up at night. This is the Nine of Swords, and so this person typically is has some like threat or danger hanging over them, and it's usually within the mental space. So think like anxiety and possibly having fears from past events, or a trigger set something off. And so I see the connection here kind of feeling seamless in terms of being blind to something because of the anxieties from maybe a past experience. And the card here says we all get a bit carried away with our worries sometimes. So in this cycle, you're up at 3 a.m. worrying. Maybe it's not necessarily a worry, but also like an idea suddenly comes to you, or all of a sudden you fear that you left out an important detail. We've all been there. And so you're kind of getting into a place of excessiveness with the worry to the point where you're going to be imbalanced clearly here with your sleep, which spills over onto all other points of your health. Okay, so let's get some more cards and see if we can fit them somehow. So next you have the Eight of Swords. Wow, a lot of mental stress happening, obviously, and this scene might look very familiar. You at your desk, at your laptop, headphones plugged in, and just like it's just something is holding you back or making an obstacle, and you're just kind of not getting to the point that you feel like you need to. Oh, on her hand it says deadline today. So we're definitely talking about applications and deadlines, many cups of coffee, many sleepless nights, worrying that you didn't type something that you needed to, a lot of unnecessary and excessive worrying happening here. So far we have all wands, which is all like to do with the mind and perception and processing thoughts. So we're all up in our head very much at this time of the application cycle. Let me try to maneuver this a bit. And so next we have the Page of Cups. And let's see what this is telling us. Let yourself be continually surprised by this thing called life. So after half the circle here that we've made in terms of we've got a storyline coming through about mental turmoil, not seeing something, I'll say it like this, not seeing something clearly just because we're either missing some information, not by our own design, but we might also be not perceiving some information because of a worry that's blocking us from doing that. And then here we're turning to the hopeful kind of energy here. So the sparkles came back as we had in the death card. And you're looking out into expanse. And you know, it's kind of weird because we started talking about the ocean in the beginning, because I was drawn to the seashell, and here you are at that expanse, at the ocean, unexpectedly finding the ocean in the shell, and here you're unexpectedly finding something serene in your cup with the Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups can also mean like an unexpected message, a loving message, the start of something loving, and because we have so much mental energy here, it might be loving thoughts, loving awareness. Yeah, the word awareness is kind of pulling forward for me. So there might be something here to do with taking care of yourself and bringing awareness to this excessiveness in the mental energy that's actually not helping you, even though you feel like the work, going back to the grind, is what you need to do with this deadline, that you need to become aware of something actually, as this reading suggests, to make life easier for you, to let it flow. And I want to say something about control, about letting go of control in some aspect that will free you up from this mental turmoil. And it's something that you can't control anyway, so you might as well let go. Okay, I'm gonna pull out a couple more cards for you. So we have the Three of Pentacles, one of my favorite cards. This is all about community and friendship and support. So we're asking about support, and you see a clear answer coming through here in your peer support, I want to say. Possibly your cohort, if you're a grad student, or your colleagues. So the phrase is, what's the saying? Teamwork makes the spell work. Oh, so there's also some message here about sharing the burden, sharing the workload. If you're in a team, that will make a lot of sense. But if you're working individually, I might suggest to you like a writing group, a support group that can help you through the deadline, a support group of other people who are also going through the same thing, or who have been through the same thing, and can help advise you. That would kind of, I mean, of course, you still need to do the work, but that would kind of lessen the mental load on you. And then the last card that we're going to bring here is the Ten of Pentacles. Oh, lovely. So the Ten of Pentacles is definitely about finances, and it's the pinnacle point of reaching a suitable amount of finances, possibly an abundance of finances, more than you expected, I'll say. And then the line says, having it all looks different to everyone. So this is drawing me back to the Page of Cups. Let yourself be continually surprised that you're going to get it all, and it might be surprising how it happens or what it is that you get. So that's really interesting. So I'm going to circle back and bring out our original central energy card. The Death card reversed. Okay, so the Death card is usually about the ending of something that has reached its cycle naturally. But reversed, it makes me think about a hiccup. to that ending or a resistance to that ending. And something about the motion of the woman here picking up the broom and taking care of business herself, you know, putting an ending to the dirt, putting it where it needs to be, feels to be the central message behind this reading of where or how to seek support or support yourself as you're going through this cycle of deadlines. Now I'm thinking of what that ending could be. We did have an ending come through here of self-awareness, of a way you might be excessively worrying. So this hasn't naturally ended yet, and the advice would be there to take care of it, to do something to end this cycle of worrying over things that you can't control. I mean, again, because this is half of the circle, it makes me think of, there's this circle of inevitability, it's feeling like. I don't often say this, but you're covering up whatever's happening in this part of the cycle of inevitability with worry. You can't enjoy that part of the process, but it's still going to go this way. You're still going to be surprised pleasantly. You're going to have your support community, your togetherness, your people, however you want to phrase that, and then you have the financial outcome that you're looking for as well. So this might specifically be for people who are applying for jobs, you know, seeking income, or people who are applying for grants or applying for scholarships, something to do with money. I feel like this reading will, there's a lot of gravity for you in this reading. So what can you do to support yourself? Something else that's standing out to me is these crystals here. Something about connecting otherwise, connecting to your own spirituality, I'll say, or your own inner whispers in any way. So like quieting the mind, I think is what the crystals is drawing me to. Meditating, doing yoga, quieting the mind in any way you can to better enjoy this cycle, because you're swinging around to something that's positive. Might as well enjoy the ride. It's only yourself that's making it difficult, your mind. Of course, probably healing needs to happen underlying that. Healing your self-doubts, self-limiting beliefs, past trauma of maybe rejection or feeling not enough, even stretching all the way back to childhood. None of that is out of the scope of the question. And in fact, since we have the Page of Cups here, a very young person, there could be some inner child message that you need to reach by connecting to your inner voice and your spirituality. The other thing I'm drawn to here is the pot and the herbs, and you know, of course, probably they're making a potion or a spell, but it makes me think of cooking joyfully together, maybe taking a cooking class or getting healthy. Like I'm planning to make chicken soup tonight for dinner. I don't often do that, but I just felt like being kind of like clean and healthy tonight, and I'm being drawn to that in a way to support yourself as well. If you're an animal lover, I mean, this is more cats than most people own, so I'm getting the message of like volunteering at a shelter, spending time with animals would be really helpful to you. And then of course the beach kept coming through. So spending time at the ocean or in nature, camping, I think these are things that are going to help you. And you may feel like you don't have time for that. You do have time. And you need to use that time for yourself rather than for your laptop, for your deadline only. Don't lose sight that you're important in this recipe as well. Okay, I'm gonna actually ask the oracle cards for some guidance as well. Oh, so you have the snail and huckleberry, and it says trust in the invisible. So I kind of want to put that here because we were talking about this cycle of inevitability, right? Trusting in that cycle that's invisible to you right now. And enjoying the cycle, getting out of your own way to just find ways to enjoy that, because you end up here anyways. So why go through the 3 a.m. wake-ups or the late nights of not being able to put 2 words together at your laptop? So I'm going to quickly get the explanation for this. Okay, so the snail and the huckleberry trust in the invisible. The determined and deliberate snail carries its home on its back. While it may seem like a simple, humble creature, the spiral of its shell. Oh, interesting. We talked about a spiral and we talked about shell in this. Portends great mystery, representing the cycle of life. Like the snail, the huckleberry is sometimes associated with smallness and insignificance. A huckleberry in late 19th century slang was a person of little consequence. However, it is a powerful fruit that grows plentifully, offering life-sustaining nutrients to both humans and woodland creatures. Together, the snail and the huckleberry invite an appreciation for what is beneath the surface and trust in what cannot be seen. Ooh, interesting. So, if you're kind of feeling this in general, not super intensely, I would say. So we'll use this as a benchmark. You're not staying up till 3 a.m., but maybe you're staying up till 12 a.m. Then you might listen to this upright interpretation. Now is a good time to follow your bliss. Trusting in invisible supports. With great risk comes great reward. That kind of reminds me of the advice to connect with your inner knowing, the invisible supports, or your spirit team, or your ancestors. So that was the crystals and the inner child advice for seeking support at this time. If you're feeling this more intensely, like you are staying up until 3 a.m., you are worrying what you might identify as excessively, then I might recommend you take the reverse advice, which is you are relying too heavily on physical proof. Grow quiet and observant. Allow subtle clues, even feelings and intimations to guide you. Oh, so it's a bit of the same, but for you, this almost, rather than just seeking meditation, which you should also do, I would say pay attention to the somatics, or the physical knowing. So I'm learning to identify your feelings first, and then possibly learning how to process them as well. And learning how to identify like physical responses in you. So if you notice that, like, oh, you've been hunching up your shoulders a lot, or you've been carrying a lot of tension in your back, or you've been grinding your teeth, just being more quiet and observant of those things about yourself will do a lot in terms of supporting you. So that's the invisibleness the cards are pointing you towards, looking to to support yourself. And the questions here are for reflection are, when have I benefited from trusting in subtle clues? So think about times that you've done this already, trusted in clues or signs or thoughts that you just kind of blindly trusted. When did that, what was the outcome of that? That might give you some sense or some serenity in terms of trusting the invisible process. Or how can I look beyond appearances towards deeper meaning? So this kind of points me back to this cycle here where everything was very much in the head and in the worry space, the anxiety of the head. How can you look past that to deeper meaning? Possibly in terms of, where is this emanating from the past? Or yes, like are you really reacting to the moment here, or is it a trigger from the past? Or the deeper meaning could be, what is the bigger picture of experiencing this stressor in time, this temporary stressor in time? And that's going to be a beautiful outcome. So those are the things that can help you as you go through your difficult application cycle. And trust me, I know it's not the most fun experience to ask for validation, ask for acceptance, ask for your worthiness from an outside source, institution, or person. It feels like you're giving your control away, right? I think there's a little bit here to be said about, like holding on to your own self-worth and not over-identifying with what you're applying to and not becoming over-attached to the outcome of it. Because you're still you, you're still powerful and beautiful and important, and you're here to do great things. This application cycle is a temporal experience that doesn't change anything about that, about you. So I hope that gives you some kind of guidance, solace, or direction as you continue in this November cycle, or whatever timeline you're now a part of, since this is a timeless reading. And I just want to thank you for spending time with me, sending great support to you as well, and please continue to work with love.